Hello everyone, I am your biology teacher and in this video you are going to study non-communicable disease and the chapter name is health and hygiene. You already studied about communicable disease. Now we are going to discuss about non-communicable diseases. We know that non-communicable diseases are not caused by pathogens and therefore that cannot be spread from one person to another. One person to another means from an infected person to a healthy person. This non-communicable diseases cannot be spread. And these diseases are caused by, look at that, what are the reasons for this non-communicable diseases? Improper diet, metabolic malfunctioning of the body, inherited diseases, and diseases caused by aging, mental illness, etc. On the basis of their cause or on the basis of the reason, non communicable diseases are again classified into many types. Look at that, what are they? First part is degenerative diseases, and they are caused due to the malfunctioning of vital organs. Malfunctioning means improper functioning of vital organs, important organs like that, heart, lungs, kidneys, etc. And diabetes mellitus, heart attack, uremia, arthritis, and cancer are some of the examples of degenerative diseases. And degenerative diseases are long-term diseases and that will affect to the adults more than children. So the first one, diabetes mellitus. In diabetes mellitus, a person has a high level of sugar in the blood because the pancreas does not produce enough insulin. And we know that insulin is a chemical or as a hormone that's secreted by pancreas and that to control the sugar level in the blood. Then this high blood sugar level produces the symptoms of frequent urination, then increased thirst and hunger and loss of our body weight. Then depending on the conditions, diabetic patients are either administered insulin or given some medications. And this disease can exist in families or can develop at any age. So the second one is heart attack. In a heart attack, the blood supply to the heart muscles get obstructed and the heart muscles do not work properly. And the next is uremia. Uremia is the disease that's caused due to the malfunctioning of kidneys. And the last one is cancer. Cancer is caused by the uncontrolled growth of certain cells of the body. The cancer cells eventually destroy the surrounding normal cells and slowly that is spread to the other organs of different parts of our body. Then if cancer is detected in early stage, then it can be treated. If left untreated, then it will lead to the death of a person. Okay, the next is inherited diseases. First part was degenerated diseases. Under that, diabetes, heart attack, uremia, and cancer that we already discussed now. Next is inherited diseases. And these diseases are passed within the families from one generation to another. For example, hemophilia, thalassemia, and sickle cell anemia. These are the examples of inherited diseases. And the first one is allergies. The defense system of our body provides protection against many types of infections. Common allergic reactions include asthma, hay fever, food allergy, etc. Then dietary diseases also there, diseases which are caused by the deficiency of essential proteins, vitamins and minerals in a diet. For a prolonged period of time, these are called dietary deficiency diseases. And some examples also mentioned here. For example, protein deficiency disease, and the examples are kwashiorkor and marasmus. So kwashiorkor and marasmus are the examples of protein deficiency diseases. And the next one is vitamin deficiency diseases. And this type of diseases includes scurvy, pellagra, night blindness, and beriberi. So here one table is also mentioned there, and this table is showing some common vitamin deficiency diseases and their source and functions. So you need to study this table from the chapter, page number 108. This is mentioned there. So vitamin A, that's retinol, vitamin B1 thiamine, then niacin, vitamin B2, and vitamin C ascorbic acid, and vitamin D calciferol. And related with that, deficiency diseases and their source, how we will get this vitamin, and from what kind of food items, and the function of this vitamin is also mentioned in this table. So children, study this table from the book. Then let's go with another table. One more table is here, table 7.3, that's mentioned in the book, page number 108. That means some common minerals deficiency diseases are here, and minerals names mentioned here: calcium, iodine, iron, potassium, and sodium. And the diseases, their sources and functions also here. So next is how to prevent non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are a consequence of improper body function, and we can effectively defend our body against these types of diseases. And we should do at least, so look at that, what are the uh, preventive non how to prevent non-communicable disease, how what are the things are mentioned here, and we need to follow this all the things. First one, we should do at least 30 minutes exercise every day, and we should do yoga every day. Daily baths is needed, that daily baths keeps the skin free from disease causing germs, and we should wear clean clothes to avoid any kind of infection. We should wash our hands frequently. We should eat a healthy and balanced diet, and we should eat fresh fruits and vegetables. So these are the things we need to follow for preventing non-communicable diseases. So let's go to the next slide. Next is hygiene. This is a second part of the chapter. That means we already know that the chapter name is health and hygiene. Health part is already over. Now we are going to the second part of the chapter, that is hygiene. Definition of hygiene is mentioned here. Hygiene is a practice of good healthy habits, and it involves keeping clean, eating well balanced diet, sufficient exercise, and sleep. Some common social hygiene programs are mentioned here. So children, look at that, what are they? The main programs are here: provision of safe drinking water, we need to drink always safe water. Safe drinking water is needed. Safe disposal of garbage. So we are going to discuss about these two topics here. First one, provision for safe drinking water. And safe drinking water is one of the basic requirements for good health. And water is made safe for drinking by some of the following methods. Some methods also there, how to uh, get safe drinking water. What are the methods we can use for that? First is chlorination. Chlorination means in this method, chlorine tablets are added to water to kill germs. And the second method is sedimentation. Sedimentation is an old method and for purification of water. And next one, alum crystals. Alum crystals means a crystal of alum is used to settle down the mud particles, and the clear water is filtered out later. Then boiling. Boiling, that means that's a boiling kills the germs present in the water, and we should boil water for at least 15 minutes to kill the germs. And the last one is water purifier. Nowadays, we know that water purifiers work on the techniques such as by passing ultraviolet rays, then through the water, then using activated carbon is using inside there, ceramic candles and reverse osmosis. And finally, we'll get a germ-free water. So next is the next topic, safe disposal of garbage. This is the last topic of the chapter, I think. Yes, safe disposal of garbage. The methods for proper disposal of wastes and their treatment are mentioned here. How to follow this sewage disposal and treatment, then solid waste disposal, then composting. Out of these three, composting is an important method. That means in this method, a pit is dug and the waste is dumped in it, and the waste is decomposed by the microorganisms, and that will be converted into a manure rich soil or compost. So the important measures of social hygiene are also mentioned here, and that are a proper disposal of city garbage, covering of drains, a provision of safe drinking water, etc. Then next is segregation of wastes. That means almost 6 billion people are living on our earth. Every person creates waste such as food packages made of cardboard and plastic, aluminium and plastic cans, worn out toothbrush, used paper, broken down cars, etc. If the waste we generate is not sorted and disposed of properly, then what will happen there? There would be a mountain of waste in the places we live. And this could cause different kinds of diseases, and that will be spread. So the waste disposal is an important part of sanitation. And the methods of segregation of waste is also mentioned here. And wastes can be segregated as two-way, that means biodegradable wastes and non-biodegradable wastes. So let us discuss about that. First one, biodegradable wastes. Wastes that can be decomposing by the action of microorganisms, that are called biodegradable wastes. For example, kitchen wastes such as peels of vegetables and fruits. And this type of wastes does not harm the environment. But non-biodegradable wastes means that cannot be decomposed by the action of microorganisms. For example, plastics and like that are called non-biodegradable wastes. But non-degradable wastes can be further segregated into the following types. What are they? Recyclable wastes, toxic wastes, and biomedical wastes. So children, these are the main topics included in this video part 2, and I'm going to winding up this video. Thank you.